The one thing that I was most unconvinced about after I watched the trailer of Amazon Prime Video's flagship show, The Family Man, was the inclusion of Jaideep Ahlawat as the prime antagonist of the season. We need to address the Hathiram in the room. He is Amazon Prime Video's flagship character from the much acclaimed Patal Lok. By pitting Jaideep Ahlawat against the actor for all seasons and good reasons Manoj Bajpayee, who reprises his role as Srikanth Tiwari for a third edition of The Family Man, the makers also evoke the gangs of Wasipur parallel of Shahid Khan and Sardar Khan. I wish the familiarity ended there. The brilliant season 2 of Patal Lok, which released earlier this year, saw Hathiram Chaudhary navigating the predictably volatile terrains of Northeast India, particularly Nagaland. Season 3 of The Family Man takes Srikanth Tiwari to the same part of the country, that is Northeast India, after checking off Kashmir and South India off the list in the first two seasons. In this season, a whole new set of outlaws, criminals, moles, and turncoats are threatening the safety and security of India. As the risk intensifies, the question remains: can Jaideep Ahlawat convince us as the villain of The Family Man Season 3 after his success as an actor and character in Patal Lok? But more seriously, has The Family Man succumbed to the curse of Season 3 much like Netflix India's Delhi Crime, or does it keep the show going on course for a fourth season? Let's cut to insight. Some spoilers ahead. With the first season of The Family Man back in 2019, creators Raj and DK had cracked a great concept for a thriller and comedy series about a seemingly simple middle-class man who tries to balance his familial responsibilities with those of his high-stakes job as a spy at Task, a fictitious wing of NIA, mostly failing at it, making for a spectacular scene to watch. I call it a thriller and comedy series instead of a comedy thriller because the creators are very clear that the show is seriously gripping as a spy thriller and situationally comic when it's in Srikanth's personal territory. The latter always feeds off the former. The nation is as much under threat in the backdrop as his family in the foreground, which seems to be going apart as a result of Srikanth's balancing act. If in season 1, Srikanth's inability to balance the two worlds arguably led to his wife Suchi, played by Priyamani, cheating on him, season 2 explored the direct intrusion of the consequences of Srikanth's job on his family when his daughter Dhriti is kidnapped. The commentary of the show has always been interesting. Family comes first, but if the job supersedes the family, both start to fall apart real soon. Season 3 starts off very aware of this dichotomy of the character and the times that we are living in. The funniest jokes still come from Srikanth's ignorance and unawareness of anything that is not related to his job as a spy. For instance, neither does he know that his son Atharva is being bullied at school, nor is he aware of his daughter's pronouns, which in particular makes for a hilarious scene as Manoj Bajpayee capitalizes on his tilting head and puzzled frown. Most filmmakers would treat the scene of a father discovering her daughter's wokeness while learning what it is to be woke and how to be woke very dismissively and judgmentally. That is not the case here because the makers understand Srikanth's lack of awareness but willingness to engage with his children. 4 years after the second season, creators Raj and DK, seasoned developer Suman Kumar, along with the seasoned actor Manoj Bajpayee, have a firm grip on their lead character with an eye on the socio-cultural and political journey he and the country have traversed since then. Which brings me to the setting of this season. Much like Patal Lok Season 2 and a bit like Delhi Crime Season 3, The Family Man Season 3 opens and sets its story in the Northeast India. The narrow lanes and hilly neighborhoods surrounded by the lush and natural greens define most frames of the show. Multiple times in the show, cinematographer Jay Charola zooms out the camera from its characters and hangs it over the valleys, showing nothing else but dense green forest cover, reminding us that a bigger picture is at stake. Interestingly, even the scenes set in interior have characters surrounded in walls painted in white and green, almost as if the warm tones of saffron have been excluded on purpose to make the show look nothing like the mainstream Hindi propaganda films of today. This is to convey that The Family Man Season 3 is very politically conscious and opinionated. Early on in the show, we learn about China's intentions to infiltrate and destabilize the Northeast India, aided by an international orchestrator, Meera, played by Nimrat Kaur. She works with or for Dwarkanath, a fancy arms dealer slash businessman based in London, played by Jugal Hansraj, who wants to sign a defense deal with India to sell his military equipment. I struggle to describe these two characters because they are vaguely written and are annoyingly one note. Anyway, Meera hires Rukma, played by Jaideep Ahlawat, who is a drug dealer, assassin, and an ex soldier well versed with the region of Northeast India. He's styled like Pathan but with intentions like Jim. Ahlawat plays Rukma with the visible defiance and the invisible soft heartedness of a Hathiram Chaudhary, but has a calculated and curated swag that is completely original to this character. Hathiram would be Rukma if he was on the other side of law and morality. Coming back to the politics of The Family Man, the show uses plenty of real life references and has a direct commentary on them. 69 Chinese apps are banned in retaliation to China's aggression towards India by Prime Minister Basu, played by Seema Biswas. The creators make sure to poke holes in the superficiality of this decision. An IT cell is deployed to brand a national servant like Srikanth and his family as anti-nationals after Srikanth tries to counter the threat to national security by Meera, Dwarkanath and Rukma. The media is depicted as extremely critical of the Prime Minister, with every move of the government being questioned. At the same time, the media is also shown to be voyeuristic and violators of personal privacy, dancing to the tunes of business tycoons. These ideas are expansive and the politics is straightforward. I also enjoyed the inspection of the ongoing existential, personal, and professional crisis of an assassin like Rukma, along with that of his nemesis Srikanth, whose existential crisis is the crux of the show. But what really holds back this season of The Family Man is the weaving of these grand ideas with the basic requirements of writing and direction. Most of the conflicts are all too familiar for a spy thriller, and so are the tropes. After 2 seasons of Saving the Nation, Srikanth is labelled as a suspect by the same system he works for. It's a narrative device explored far too often in this genre, earlier seen in shows as terrible as CID, with the same outcome each time. The dialogues are preemptive to the point that they break fourth wall and are aware of the conflicts in the scene. For example, in one scene, JK, played by Sharib Hashmi, taunts Srikanth on losing his photographic memory when Srikanth fails to identify a suspect from a set of pictures. But how is JK so sure that Srikanth is failing to identify one of the suspects, or that the suspect is actually one of the men shown to him? As the season progresses, the plot gets increasingly convoluted. Key scenes are not developed beyond the beat points written on a sticky note put up on the whiteboard of the writer's room. For instance, a sequence involving Indian soldiers being ambushed in Myanmar has no build-up, ends abruptly, and is devoid of any direction, because the purpose is just to show an ambush. After a while, the beats are predictable on a scene-to-scene level, and the many escape and chase sequences barely offer anything inventive. The narrative languishes when it starts taking itself too seriously and is rescued only when the comedy arrives. On a visual and technical level, the seemingly one-take shots are done to death even as a gimmick, and the many green screens and out-of-sync dubbing is too distracting after a point. What keeps this show flickering even amidst these issues is its powerhouse of a cast and their performances. A strangely inert and imperceptive Priyamani aside, the rest of the cast delivers the goods and more. When the actors are teamed up, the show is able to produce some fireworks. The sexual tension and shifting power dynamics between Ahlawat's Rukma and Nimrat's Meera is palpable. It gets a neat payoff towards the end of the season. Also, by the end of the season, Jaideep Ahlawat is successfully able to rid us of the Hathiram sized elephant in the room. His performance in yet another blockbuster streaming show is a testament to the actor's range, weight, and stature as a performer today, where the writing is forced to do better for him, and if it fumbles, the actor elevates the material on his own. This is another season where Manoj Bajpayee's chemistry with his co-actors crackles. The banter between Srikanth and JK continues to be consistently funny, and the jokes almost always land. In a show that is driven by the intended humor of its characters, the scene that had me choking on my drink was the sight of an Indian Prime Minister holding a press conference. When the times itself are dystopian, only fiction can afford to be utopian. Please do let me know what you thought of the season 3 of The Family Man in the comments section, and do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel.